Hey guys, as you can tell from the title of this video, this is a video about anxiety. So this is going to be a part of my series Lola's Lounge, and this is episode 2. So if you guys would like more videos like this, just make sure you give this video a thumbs up and comment down below telling me what you like the most about this video, and make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. So I'm gonna get right into it. It is a very serious topic, and I feel like it's a very common thing and conversation to come across now these days. I feel like a lot of people are starting to open up more about their mental illnesses or their mental disorders, and just kind of make a conversation of it. So personally, I actually have general anxiety. I know there is other types of anxiety, but I suffer from general anxiety. I actually didn't get diagnosed with my anxiety disorder until a couple months ago. My entire life, I pretty much kind of already knew that I had anxiety issues. I just never thought to the point where I would need to actually, have, like, I wasn't trying to self-diagnose myself. I know a lot of people hate that, and I just want to make this clear. The difference is self-diagnosing is when you kind of just diagnose yourself, and then, actually being diagnosed professionally is when you go to a professional and get diagnosed. I'm not trying to say I was self-diagnosing myself, but I definitely did notice a couple different signs that I had general anxiety. Sorry guys, I had to fix my hair. It was like really bothering me. So I pretty much kind of knew that I had anxiety basically because growing up, I always had signs and not symptoms, but signs of anxiety growing up. I was always the type that they called over emotional, and it's not that I was over emotional, it's just I would get really overwhelmed really easily, and my solution to being overwhelmed was to just kind of cry about it, like, all the time, or just kind of close everyone out. That was another thing that I did a whole lot growing up, even especially in my teenage years. That was something I always did. I was always in my room, and if I wasn't always in my room, I was kind of just always trying to distract myself with different things so I wouldn't have to face my actual issue. I did a lot of extracurricular activities in school as well, so I could distract myself from the real bigger issue here. Growing up, it was definitely really hard to even accept that factor and try to speak to somebody about it, just because I had a lot of issues, like I said, opening up to people. It was just really hard also because I don't know if you guys ever had an experience like this, but I grew up with a family that didn't necessarily believe that mental disorders were a thing. Now, I come from a Hispanic and African American background, but I grew up with the Hispanic side of my family. My grandparents were the ones who raised me, and I'm not saying that it's their fault. It's just this is how they were raised. When they were younger, they didn't necessarily believe that mental illness was an actual thing, and that somebody could actually suffer from it from as young as like a child to a full-blown adult. Like, I just didn't feel like I could find somebody that would actually understand me. Now, when I was younger, don't get me wrong, I actually went to counseling in school. It was just counseling. I would see the counselor maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, depending, and talk to me about different issues. When I was in middle school, I did get bullied quite a bit, so a lot of my anxiety also came from that. I had a lot of social anxiety. I only had a small group of friends. I wasn't really close with a whole lot of people in my class. As you can imagine, things were really hard and rough. It pretty much came to the point where I grew up and was still kind of suffering from anxiety a whole lot, because obviously once you become an adult you have bills to pay for, and then, you know, I have kids, so you also are responsible for these children that you have to take care of. And I love my kids, do not get me wrong. I really rarely ever get overwhelmed by my kids, because I'm pretty good when it comes to kids and handling them. With Ryleigh, I mean, like, for prime example, Riley's in her terrible twos. She's just slowly getting out of it, which I'm like, thank the Lord. But even when she was in her terrible twos, I was pregnant with Athena. Ryleigh definitely had tons and tons of tantrums, and I mean, yeah, I had family to kind of help me, especially when I was really huge and pregnant. But for the most part, I didn't really get overwhelmed. I overthink a whole lot of life situations all the time, and it constantly plays in my head over and over again. And I always think of the worst case scenario, and that's the thing that probably eats me alive the most, is when I think about worst case scenarios. Like I said, growing up in middle school, I did have a lot of social anxiety. I did have friends, but my older sister was definitely the more popular girl. She definitely was one of those kids that was friends with everyone in the class, and I just kind of wasn't like that. This is my story of anxiety. Honestly, if you are suffering from any type of mental disorder, I would advise you to seek some type of help, whether it be counseling, going to a therapist, or getting on some type of medication if you feel like it's a little rough for you, because it'll definitely help in the long run. I know a lot of people don't like to get on medication because they're like, oh, well, I don't want to have to be on it for the rest of my life, but maybe it's just good enough for you until you figure out ways to cope with your anxiety without needing to be on any medication. That is just pretty much my point of view of how to get through it. And just know that there are people out there also that you can speak to. There are tons of other people that go through this all the time, and I just want you guys to know that there is somebody out there that will be willing to listen to you, even if you just don't feel like going to a professional to talk. There are people out there suffering through the same exact thing that you're going through, and I'm pretty positive that they are willing to listen to you. They will take the time out of their day to listen to you. But honestly, if you feel like your anxiety is getting a lot worse and nothing is helping, and talking about it isn't helping, then I would highly suggest to call your doctor and get on some type of medication. They have Zoloft, they have a couple different other ones, I believe, like Xanax, but I feel like that's more for like panic disorder, which can be led from general anxiety, don't get me wrong. But panic disorder, they normally put you on like Xanax or some type of other kind, or like Prozac or something like that. But for the most part, when you have general anxiety, they normally try to get you on some type of Zoloft, just because it's just to kind of help balance out the chemical in your brain to help you kind of relax. And that's basically what it's supposed to do, is just give you a little bit of peace of mind, which doesn't harm you. At the end of the day, you can always wean yourself off, or, you know, by taking lower dosages until, you know, you're completely off of it. But in the meanwhile, while you're trying to deal with your anxiety and trying to find ways to cope with your anxiety, I would highly suggest you call your doctor. Also, a support group is definitely something that you can look into if you feel like you don't want to just go to a one-on-one therapist. They do have support groups. So you can definitely look into support groups. There are, like I said, there are tons of people that go through this all the time, and they would be more than happy to help with coping with your anxiety. So you could make friends that are in the same exact circumstance, and people that you would be able to reach out to on the daily. That's one of the best part about support groups, is that when you go to these support groups, you actually meet people that have the same exact issue as you, if not maybe a little different, but at the end of the day, they understand what you're going through, and you can make friends with them, and that way you have somebody to talk to outside of the support group to kind of have in your everyday life that'll understand what you're going through. Thank you guys for watching this video, and it means a lot to me, honestly. If you like this video, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. leave in the comments down below. Just kind of support each other, love each other, guys. And oh, my cat just jumped up. Look, he's right here. But that's pretty much all I have to say for this video, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next Lola's Lounge, and bye.